Good morning. I'm going to do a BiPAP setup. So the first thing I'm going to do is check the patient's chart, gather any necessary information, if there's any specific settings that the doctor would like the patient to be on. And when I'm ready, after I gathered all my necessary things, I'm going to knock on the patient's room, introduce myself, wash my hands, and apply the appropriate PPE. So before I always place anything like a BiPAP machine, a ventilator, oxygen, or anything like that on a patient, I just want to check their pre-vital signs, check their breath sounds, make sure everything sounds okay, and they're ready to go to be put on the machine. All right, so when we're ready to go, we always want to make sure we have different size masks. We need to have a 6-foot corrugated tubing here. That is meant for our BiPAP machine. We need to make sure we have a bacterial filter, so this will stop any bacteria from getting into the machine. Distilled water for the humidity, if you need humidity for that patient. Always make sure you have the distilled water in it, and make sure you have it properly connected. So we'll have it connected here, have your corrugated tubing, and then you'll make sure nothing is kinked when you have it. And you'll have this tubing for any pressure, so if the machine indicates there's different pressure with the machine, it'll alarm, it'll help censor off that alarm for that patient. So when we're ready to go, we go ahead before we place anything, the mask out of the bag and on the machine. We always want to make sure the patient's size that they need. So you're gonna have a measurement ruler of like how far it needs to be for like their bridge of their nose to out, to make sure it covers both of their nares and their mouth. And so when we're ready to go, we'll go ahead and get this set up. So the first thing you're going to do is hit your standby button here, which is your power button. You hit that and it's going to set up and it's going to sound off when you know it's turning on. All right, so once your interface screen comes on here, so this is your main interface, so this is what it shows you. So right now we're in the spontaneous timed mode. So this is for any spontaneous breathers. They're always going to get a timed flow when they are going, and so you can go ahead and look down at their settings, see where they need to be at. So what you need to do is look at the inspiratory and expiratory, the rise time, how much you want the rise time to be, their rate per minute, and their I time, and then their ramp time, and then their start time. So over here, then on your right side, you have your patient's data. So this is going to show their rates per minute, their estimated tidal volume and minute volume. And so then here we have the leak. So this is how much leak is coming out from your machine to the patient. So that'll show you if you have any leaks like that to the patient. And so then here we have apnea. So there's 4 per hour. So then this will, down here says trigger, so this just shows that it's triggered. Trigger, it'll show if it's the patient breathing, so right there it will show the patient, and then whatever your time is, it will set off to show when the time, so it shows the time. If you want to change it to like a CPAP mode for a continuous flow, so you'll hit the enter, so make sure that's highlighted, the blue, hit enter, and you'll hit your down arrow to CPAP and hit enter there. So here we have our CPAP. And so here we have CPAP set at 8, and you need to have ramp time and a ramp start. So however many minutes or anything you want their ramp time to be, so you can select it, and you can move up the ramp time. So every 5 minutes that ramp time will begin, and you'll hit enter. And so the ramp starts, so you can change it to 6, anything like that. Just that way you can change your settings. So always before you begin, you always want to activate that mode, or else you won't be in your CPAP mode with those set ratings. So you'll hit activate. So activate it. So it says ramp is in progress, so it'll show you that the ramp is in progress, and then it'll show again where the patient is breathing and anything like that. So here you can go over the change, anything like your alarm. So you'd hit your change screen. So you can set it to have alarm settings for apnea for every 60 seconds. If you want to change that, you can go up higher, or you can go up lower, so max 60 seconds. So you can have it check every 60 seconds alarm. And then down here you have, it will do 20 per hour. So here you can change it to down 5 per hour, 10 per hour, anything like that. And when you're done, you can also go over to your screen thing again, and you can do your splay units. You can change it to centimeters per water, like that, or you can change it back to that, Pascals. And then down here you can change your alarm volume. So you always want to make sure alarm volume is high enough to where you can hear it. If you're out of the room, if you need to hurry into the room to check to see what's going on, but go ahead and set your volume here. And to go back to your main interface, you'll hit the change screen again. And then here you'll see it has your main screen. It'll show you what you have your set CPAP at, their ramp time, every 5 minutes, and then their ramp start. And then over here again is all the patient's data that it goes by. So when your alarm goes off, you'll have a flashing light over here that the alarm's gonna sound. So what you're gonna do is hit alarm reset and alarm silence, so that way you can silence alarm and check to see what is going on, see why the alarm went off, if there's a leak in the patient, if their rate and everything is not quite right together, anything like that. So when you are finished with your machine, all you have to do is, it doesn't have just a standby, so it just automatically shuts off. So what you do is you hit your power button, hit your down arrow, and here you'll hit enter, and it'll completely shut off your machine. And so with this type of machine, you don't have to calibrate it like what you do for your other ventilator machines. So this one, you just have to turn it on, make sure you have the appropriate settings, and always check your leak, that flow that you have. So after you're all done with this, you want to go ahead and recheck the patient, get their vital signs, anything like that. You also want to make sure everything is good. So the one thing that you can check, so if they're in the spontaneous timed, you can always take an ABG, check every so often, kind of keep a schedule of what their rate is throughout their time with the machine. And so once you're done, always chart it into the patient's chart and notify the doctor that you put them on that machine.